Hello everyone, this is Adya and I welcome everyone to 3D Studies. And today my topic is exception handling in Python. And this particular chapter comprises of your class 12th. 11th can also watch this video, that will be beneficial for them. And even who wants to learn Python language, they can also come across at this particular video. So let's begin it and understand why this particular exception handling in Python program this chapter came across in our NCERT. So first of all, the thing is, while executing any kind of Python program, we came across many kind of errors as well as many kind of problems that enable us to execute our program, okay, and that breaks the sequence or behaves abnormally. So for understanding what kind of errors comes in our Python program, and then we will understand how to handle it. What I wanted to say is a simple thing. Before understanding on how to handle that particular language or program, we are required to know what's the problem is going on. So today's lecture is gonna be types of problem means types of errors. Okay. Now I would like to tell you first thing, on learning of your, I'm giving you an example, like on learning of your Hindi or English, any kind of language, remember of your childhood, what was the requirement was, you are required to learn, like in English you are required to learn A, B, C, D. Your ma'am gave a project on writing A to Z, right? We are required to, we get a project like write A, B, C, D to A to Z. And we came across many kind of, spelling mistakes, like you have written X2 as X, Y, any kind of error, or you don't know how to write. So any kind of case can be there with a different kind of people and different kind of, cases can be there. You write X as in the place of Y, or you don't know what is X, right, at all. Or the problem could be you don't know what is English. So by practice to practice, you came across what kind of mistakes I am preferring and how to handle that particular mistakes. So first of all, you're required to know क्या mistake कर रहे हैं हम लोग. Then we came across कि कैसे उन mistakes से deal करना है, and we are required to handle that particular mistake in our incoming practices. Okay, so I hope you understand the simple thing. Now let's begin it and understand the kinds of errors in Python program. So in Python program, we will be dealing with the three kinds of error. What could be the errors that we are dealing with? So the errors could be your number one, syntax error, number two, your logical error, and number three, we will came across to the runtime error. Okay, so let's begin it, and I'm giving a little idea about the first kind of error I just told you, that was your syntax error. Second was your runtime error. And third was your logical error. Now, let me give you a introduction of these all kind of errors. Now, first thing is what do we understand by syntax error. So, when we run a program, we came across grammatically mistakes. What is a grammatically mistake is, we are not following and given rules and regulation of that particular program, so we came to know a syntax error. Talking about your runtime error, runtime error are that kind of error when we are running the program. We have done all kind of important things that is required for running the program in the Python app, but on running the program we came across that the program is not moving ahead, it is not executing at all. So that time your runtime error occurs. Talking about your logical error, the word cell itself, the logic kind of errors could become like you have put it a wrong value, or some kind of your I can say numbers, or the program wants your result in a particular integer and you are giving it as the user is programming in that particular program in an string. So that kind of your logic error could become like you wanted to write n is equals to 3 but you are writing n is equals to 4, right? So we will be dealing what is these all kind of errors in detail, but I was giving a quite idea of all the three errors. Hopefully clear. Now let's talk about one by one. First with syntax, then your runtime, then your logical. So let's move ahead and understand your syntax error in brief. Okay, so what is the value? What is the first topic is it? Syntax errors. Syntax error. Okay, now what is a syntax error? Let me write the definition of it. What is syntax error? So while executing a program, while executing a program, we have not followed a proper rules of program, and due to that the syntax error occurs. So while executing a program, we have not followed a proper rules and regulation of the program we are running through. Now these errors, right, also called your parsing errors. It's parsing errors. Okay, so they are also called your parsing errors. So what is the example of syntax error? While executing a program, we have not followed our rules and regulation, and that's also called your parsing errors. Let me give you an example. Example could be, let me give you an example so you can easily deal with the syntax error. What could be the example? Example is very quite easy, I can say it. It's really very easy if you're focusing on the lecture. Okay, so I'm just drawing a program. For that, I want a box in which I am going to run my program. And yes, the drawing of the box has been done at all. Okay, so I'm going to write a program over here. Look it very carefully, everyone. Okay, so as I am writing a program as type copyright, license, anything, right? Any project we are working through. So as I'm taking a NCERT example for you all. Right, I'm having a program on copyright license, your credits, that insert your close bracket and yes. Okay, and I want the marks as equals to, I'm just taking an example like 100. I want if marks are greater than 200. Then I want print. Look at the sequence I'm following while writing the program. Print. I can say good score. Okay. Now, when you press or run the program in the Python in the Python app, what you came across, as I have done a syntax error in this particular program, I'm gonna get wait, everyone. Okay, so I'm gonna get with a red marked syntax error, and it would say that particular program is missing parentheses in call due to you are scoring a good marks or at all, right? So that kind of example could be, yes, a syntax error can include your script, dialogue, as well as your I can say the copyrighted programs, right? So that came across your syntax error. I hope this is clear to you. Talking about your second kind of error, that is your runtime error. Let's came across and let's talk it in brief. Okay, let's talk about your second kind of error, that is your runtime error. One of my interesting topic from the errors. So let's talk about the runtime error, okay? So what are your runtime errors? So while, when you're drawing a program, so if your program is automatically correct, right? Everything, the dashes and the products and the the writing syntax cited, I wanted to say the program you are writing is automatically everything is correct, right? You put it everything rightly on that. But what came is on I can say it, even if your whole program is definitely correct, right? Even if your program is correct, then also you came across a error, or I can say a runtime error, while the execution of the program. Okay, so like we can take an example for understanding the runtime error, how it comes. Like you are running a program, and in that what you have filled. Number one example could be your somewhat you are division by 0, which is not possible in a program. So you are drawing a program with a division of 0. So it would show a runtime error. For an example, let me give you an example again with the table or the program. I wanted to print f. I wanted to print f divided by 0. And yes, the 0 in our programming language is like 0. I wanted to print, look at very carefully, I wanted to print f divided by 0. So what you came across here, you will get an error, like your error would come writing on 0 division error. Because it's not possible now for the program to run ahead. So at the time of execution, you will came across this kind of errors if you are dividing a number by 0. Okay. Now let me take you the second example. The second example could be it's very interesting. And the second example could be you came across you're opening the program, you're opening the file which doesn't exist at all, right? So let me give you an example again. So I'm taking that f is equals to any kind of f is equals to open. I want C and your users double slash and your I'm taking it here as, and you can think of kind of like I want the letter as HP and double slashes, and I want a math program for the execution double hash er point txt inverted comma closed bracket. So as randomly I'm taking any kind of file which is named as C user double hash with letter HP math program double hash er point t test. Okay, txt stand for your test. Now you will ask me that why these are double slashes you have been using it, right? We can use in the place of double slash, we can use it one slash only. So the reason behind using of double slash is so the compiler which we are dealing with cannot confuse behind which kind of file I wanted to open. So for that reasons we are using that particular double slashes. And when we will execute our program in this particular thing, we will came across an error, and error that would say file doesn't or does not exist at all, because there is no file. So how could the program move ahead? So these are called your runtime error. I hope this is clear to every one of you. Okay, now let's talk about some kind of error which your NCERT predicts, like your I can say it in an frequent way. You can see the picture of that. I just gonna put the screenshot of that. So you will be came across the errors that could be your built-in exceptions or your before moving ahead, I would like to say runtime error are also called your exceptions. So remember this, okay? Yeah. So let's talk about the built-in exceptions. Built-in exceptions carries of your syntax error we have just talked about, runtime error we have talked about, and also there will be your value errors. Now value errors can come at the time when you're not putting the right value, so that will behave abnormally, right? Talking about your IOC errors, right? It might can come. Now these kind of error could be like you doesn't have an perfect data while executing the program, and you came across that file will not open at all, right? There will be your more or kind of errors, so that's not important us to remember it, but you can see it, number errors, letter errors, right? So let's now talk about your third kind of error, that is your logical errors. Okay, so let's begin it and understand your logical error. So let's talk about your third kind of error, that is your no more than logical errors. So as the word says itself everything, there will be a logic problem in the logical error. So let me write the definition for logical error. Okay, so logical errors, let me write the definition. Logical errors when programmer makes errors or made errors while execution of the or running the program, right? And yes, there will be a logic error. Don't worry for understanding the logical error. I'm repeating the word logic, logic, logic. You would say, what you're telling me? What do you mean by logic? Let me give you an example. You will be able to learn it very easily. So, okay. So the logic example could be your, as I'm running the program. Let me give you a short idea of logical error. Like your teacher says, print the stars in the format of, print the star in the format of your, okay, so I want the stars to be printed in this particular format. What this format is, creating it x-axis and y-axis with the coordinate number 1, where all things are positive, okay? So that kind of triangle I wanted, and yes, so when you execute a program or run the program, you came across this kind of stars, and the sequence are your, so this sequence is repeating at the execution of your program. So you have done any kind of logic error in this particular program, so that in the place of these stars you are preferring these stars, and the sequence of these sequence after done you are coming across a horizontal sequence. Okay, like let me give you an example for a program. So understanding for the logical errors. So the example could be your like I'm drawing a program. I'm gonna giving a value as 20. Okay, 20. Okay, so I'm giving a m is equals to 20, and I'm here gonna use a while loop, right? You might be knowing in 11th standard about the while and the loops. Okay, while loop. I'm not important to write while loop. While m is smaller than 2. While m is smaller than 2, and also m is equals to, okay, it's gonna be right that m is equals to m plus 1. So print m. So I want this program to move ahead. Now, again, see, before understanding this, let me give you an example. Like you're running a program and I want any kind of number, that is your x is equals to 20, and wait. Yeah, very easy example is like a is equals to 1 and b is equals to 1. And I want from you to draw a program for them so that the result come as 1 plus 1, which is a plus b equals to 2. But on execution of your program, you are getting the number as 1, 1. So the problem is in your logic. The problem could be your addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, any kind of your binary operator. You might have listened about that. So that is the main problem. Here also m is equals to 20, and we want while loop as m is smaller than 20. How it could come, right? So how it could print m is equals to m plus 1. So that kind are your logical errors where your logic is appropriate. Now listen one thing. We have talked about 3 kind of errors, starting with your syntax error and your second error, runtime error and your logical error. Now syntax error before execution of the program, or again moving ahead in the program, it will tell you that this particular problem is occurring. You might can correct it, right? Similarly happens in the runtime error. You will be knowing कि क्या problem आ रही है. But on handling with the logical error, you will not get a single kind of thing or warning. You will get कि program will not run ahead. You are yourself required for understanding क्या logic में problem आ रही है. And on understanding the whole Python, you will be knowing. On understanding the whole Python, you will be knowing logical error are very, very important. And also for running the logical, handling the logical errors, you are required to use your own brain. That what kind of creations we can do it for improving our program. I hope all kind of errors and what kind of concept is required in that particular errors is hopefully clear to every one of you. Now I'll be back moving with the second lecture of your Python program. Till that, keep learning and stay tuned. Thank you.